For this pattern, I use weight 3 cotton yarn. So I actually use weight 1 doubled, so just 2 strands. And I use a white for the tail and a different color for the body. But you could of course just do one color for the whole coaster. And with that yarn, I use a 3mm hook. I have quite tight tension, so you might want to play around with hook sizes, possibly use a 2.5 or a 2.75mm hook if you're using weight 3, or if you're using a heavier weight yarn, use a 3mm hook, 3.5mm hook. You can really play around with it. When I use this orange yarn specifically, you can see that my coaster measures about 8 centimeters all the way across. So if you want to match my gauge, you can try to find a combination of yarn and a hook size that will get you to 8 centimeters once you're done with all the rows in the coaster. So then, of course, aside from the yarn and the hook, you'll need scissors for fastening off and a darning needle for weaving in your ends. Now, to start my coaster, I'm going to make a magic ring just by wrapping my yarn around my fingers and forming an X and taking it around, and then just putting my hook through and pulling up that strand that's closest to my knuckles, holding the ends, and then chaining 2. Now I'm just going to continue to make 12 double crochet into this magic ring. So now I've finished my 12 double crochet, so I'm just going to pull my magic ring tight to close, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet I made in the round. So as you can see, here's the top of that double crochet, so here's the chain 2 that I started with in my first double crochet right there, so just in the top of that stitch. And I'm just going to slip stitch to connect that round. And now I'm just going to pull my magic ring even tighter to fully close it. So now that I've finished my first round, I'm going to start my second by just chaining 2. And I'm going to bring my end up so I don't have to weave it in later. I'm just going to weave it in right now. And I'm going to go into that first stitch. So still, it's the top of that first double crochet of the first round. And I'm going to double crochet. And now I'm going to double crochet once more into that same stitch. So I'm going to increase. So now I have 1 increase in my first stitch, and I'm going to continue to make 12 increases in total, so 11 more increases until I have 24 stitches in total. So now I've just finished increasing in all of my 12 stitches. So now I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet from the round to connect the round, just like that. Now for the third round, I'm going to chain 2 again, just like I did for the other rounds, and I'm going to do 1 double crochet into the first stitch. And then I'm going to do an increase into the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat that sequence all the way around, so for a total of 12 times. So in the next 2 stitches, I will do 1 double crochet and 1 increase. And I will end with a total stitch count of 36. So I've just completed my third round. So of course I am going to just slip stitch to connect the round, just like I did for all the other rounds, and chain 2 to begin the fourth round. Now for the fourth round, I am going to start by increasing in the first stitch, and then I'm going to do 2 double crochet. So one in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 double crochet and then another double crochet into the next stitch. And I'm just going to repeat that sequence. So an increase and then a double crochet and another double crochet all the way around for a total of 12 times. So at the end of this round, you will have 48 total stitches. So now that I've completed my 4th round, I am going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet I made in the round. And then I'm just going to chain 1. And now for the 5th round, I will be single crocheting around. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then another single crochet into the second, and 1 more into the third. And then in the 4th stitch, I'm going to increase. So I'll make 2 single crochets into that 4th stitch. And I'm going to complete the sequence 6 times so that I have 32 total stitches. So now that I've repeated that sequence 6 times, I have 30 stitches. So now I'm just going to make 3 more single crochet. So 1, 2, 3. And now for this 3rd one, before I pull through to make my single crochet, I'm going to actually change my yarn to white for the tail. So I'm just going to wrap my white yarn around my hook and pull through so that the working loop of my single crochet is white instead of orange. And now I'm just going to make a treble. So wrap my yarn around my hook twice, and I'm going to go into the next stitch. And I'm going to lock these 2 tails for my yarn in my stitch. And so I'm going to just pull through twice for my treble, but not my last stitch, so that I can pull through once I finish all my trebles for the tail to create a puff stitch. So now I'm just going to make another treble in that same stitch. So I made the first one, which is the stitch that was right next to that single crochet, that 3rd single crochet. And then I'm going to go into the next stitch and make 4 trebles. And of course, only pulling through the first 2. The first 2 loops on your hook. So that's 1, 2, and now I'm going to stop wrapping the white yarn, but I'm going to continue wrapping my orange yarn in my stitches. So basically encasing it so that I can carry it across, since I'll be using it again. So now this is my 3rd treble in the same stitch. Just pulling through those 2 first loops. And then here's my 4th. So now I'm going to move into the next stitch and keep doing those puff stitch trebles. So 1 treble, and then another treble. And this will be my last one. So now I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 loops on my hook, and I have 2 treble in the first stitch after my last single crochet, and then 4 trebles into that next stitch, and then 2 into the one after that. So now I'm just going to yarn over and pull through all those loops to form my puff stitch. What I'm going to do now is just chain one. What I'm going to do now is just pull my working yarn so that it's a larger loop, and I'm going to insert my hook back into my chain, and I'm going to bring my orange yarn over so that I just yarn over, and then I'm going to pull through. Now I'm just going to single crochet into the next stitch on my coaster. So what I'm going to do now is just cut my white yarn to a reasonable length for weaving it in, and I'm going to pull that loop so that the tail comes through, or the tail of the yarn comes through. It's just like that. And so what I'm actually going to do now is just tie the ends of my tail, so the beginning and the end of my yarn, and I'm just going to tie those together to secure them. So now I have completed my tail, and since I have my one single crochet in the next stitch, I'm going to do an increase. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. I'm going to repeat the sequence of increase and then single crochet 3 for a total of 4 times. So now that I've repeated that sequence of increase, single crochet 3, 4 times, I now have 1 stitch left, and I'm going to increase in that stitch. So now on this side of the tail, I have 23 total stitches. So what I'm going to do now is just single crochet into that first stitch of the round, and I'm going to start the head. So now to start the head, I'm not going to chain any turning chain. I'm just going to yarn over and double crochet into that first stitch. Now I'm going to make a total of 9 double crochet, including that first stitch. All right, so now that I have 9 double crochet, I'm going to do 1 half double crochet so that I have 10 stitches total. And I'm just going to turn my work over, chain 1, and I'm going to skip that first stitch right there. So as you can see, here's the top of that half double crochet. I'm going to skip that, and I'm just going to half double crochet into the next stitch. And then I will just double crochet until 2 stitches remain. So that's going to be 6 double crochets. Now in the last 2 stitches, I'm going to half double crochet. So I'll half double crochet into that next stitch and half double crochet into the stitch after that. And this stitch is going to not have a turning chain, so the top loops are a little bit stretched, but you just want to put them through like this and half double crochet. And then turn your work over, chain 1, and skip that first stitch and single crochet into the second. And now we're going to start our ear. So to do that, I'm going to just chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And from the second chain from the hook, you're going to half double crochet 1. And then double crochet 1 into the next chain. And then treble 2. into the next 2 chains. So that's 1, 2. And now in the next 3 chains, you're going to do a double treble. So that just means you wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times. And then you just go into the next chain and pull through a total of 4 times to make that double treble. And so you're gonna make 2 more of these. So that's 2. And here is the 3rd and last one. And then you're going to treble again. So just treble 1. And in the last chain, you're going to double crochet 1. And now you're going to make another double crochet, but it'll be in the front loop and the left post of your stitch. So here is the front loop of your single crochet before your chain 10. So right there, and then here is the left leg. So you're just going to go through those and double crochet. And now just skip 2 stitches, so 1, 2, and single crochet into that 3rd stitch. And then do another single crochet into the next stitch. And then you're just going to repeat the same process for the second ear. So just chain 10 and do exactly the same. So once you've repeated all the steps for your second ear, you're going to skip 2 stitches again and single crochet. And so now you're just going to slip stitch into that turning chain from your first to your second row. So right here. And just complete that slip stitch and then chain 1 and fasten off. So just like that, you have your finished bunny coaster. All you need to do is weave in your ends. So of course, if you'd like it to be a little more flat, you can wet block it or iron it. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoy your new bunny coasters. And if you'd like a written pattern, I have one available on my Etsy for a small amount. And it just really helps to support my small business and make it so I can make more free content like this.